At the end of the day, we are a lot of things. We are goofy, we're spontaneous, we're courageous.
At the end of the day, when the lights go off and the camera stops rolling,
we are ordinary people with extraordinary talents and dreams. We are creative, we are ambitious, we are inviting, we are unique.
At the end of the day, when the director says cut and the set is closed,
we are still here. We are real, not just entertainers, but people with a lot to say.
We are on a mission to put real back into reality television.
We are passionate. We are perfectly imperfect.
We are the park.
Like, have you ever been in love?
I've been in love so many times.
So many times.
Yeah. Oh, God, here we are. I've been in love.
But do you understand the difference between loving somebody,
This was
and
on
loving,
This was on
loving who they're supposed to be?
Because there's a difference. You can
There's
love
a
somebody but
difference.
not be in love with them.
Or you can love something
and
else.
not love who they are.
Right. You can love something
Wait, what
specific about somebody.
So, like I'm saying, you can be in love with someone but not love who they are. Like you can be in love with that person, like just really love. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
but also you can love everything about that person, the outside of them, but not be in love with them. Like
Wait, can you be in love with someone if you don't love the inside of them?
I think you can.
I think
Are you
love
in
is
love or are you
on the inside.
infatuated?
Right, and you're
Because there's a
infatuated.
difference in that.
Let's say, I don't know, like, okay, sexually, let's speak on that, like,
That's lust.
I like to.
not like lust and love, like that.
You can lust.
You
for
can lust
somebody.
them that you bomb sex, like, and then you people. I've heard people say this sometimes.
Been there,
I love him.
really?
No,
You don't love him.
you love what
You love
you
what he's
getting,
giving you.
but you don't love him
Right.
because he's doing you wrong. You crying,
Right.
you don't love him,
But anybody.
but you
Well, no, people you love can make you cry.
Yeah.
can,
Yeah, they can.
So, I
They're
mean,
not
I wouldn't
supposed
say
to,
that.
But they can.
yeah, exactly.
But we're all human.
I heard
That's
a lot of
true,
Right, but
saying.
if he happens over and over again, like
Right.
that should tell you
That's
When
something.
he's stupid,
like,
he's no longer.
I mean,
we had what we had. You know what I'm saying? Everything was gravy when me and her were together. Everything. But as soon as everybody on campus started to know what was going on, that's when there were issues in our relationship. When everybody started to be able to have an opinion or being able to whisper in your ear is a problem.
Yeah.
And we were on and off, like all through undergrad. And when we finally got back together for the last time before the last breakup, because we're obviously not together today, it was like, this time, don't tell nobody. Don't tell nobody. We know what's up. But just don't tell nobody and see how much better it is.
Right.
And it was so much better. And as soon as we opened our mouths back up, it was a problem.
Honestly, for me, I expect more stuff like that out of like females, but a lot of guys do that.
Oh, yeah.
Like my boyfriend, I had to check him a couple
Bitches.
times. Like, I
Is
know
that
you was talking
copyright?
about me because we were just in the kitchen having this argument. Like, and then he had to read it back to me. That moment when your girl catches you subtweeting on Twitter and you make them read it back to you. Now tell me about it.
7 words. Tell me what love is to you.
I can give you one, actually. I can. Love is unconditional. No conditions come with it. Real love, it doesn't matter who. Nothing matters. It's unconditional. There are no conditions that come with it, and that's love at its purest. And once again, yes, we all are human. We all fall short of things, but that's where the unconditional part comes in.
When you ask people what they want in a relationship, a lot of people, one of the first things they'll say is communication, trust.
Mhm.
But you have to, just like you
You
gotta
gotta
dissect
communicate.
the love, the words love, you gotta dissect that.
You
Like,
do.
do not have a trigger finger reaction to anything I say because I'm just
Right.
looking to communicate. You know what I
And
mean?
that's
It's not
the-
always
Depends
looking to
on
be
how you
malicious,
communicate.
or it's not always looking to be, yo, I'm coming at
That's
you.
what comes with learning somebody.
You know what? The only thing I hate that y'all men do, and most men do this, when y'all are in an argument with a female, y'all will purposely remember what the female says, and y'all know when, especially if a female's hot-headed, and she's saying stuff.
Don't say what you don't mean,
No.
Jody.
No, if she's saying.
Don't say it if you don't mean it, Jody.
No.
Because I'm the main one. I know where you're
Yes.
going. Like, don't say nothing to me. And then, no, I'm gonna. No, that's not what you said.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I'm a stickler for that. Like, sorry to cut you up, but like, if I ask you a question, don't give me an answer to a question I didn't ask you. That's not what I said.
They do that.
Like, don't.
I
Like,
don't like that.
that's
T.
not
don't
what
like
I
that.
said.
Like, I'm not stupid. Don't change
Right,
the subject
right.
on me, yo.
Y'all love to switch it up.
Who you
Y'all love to
with?
switch it
Don't
up.
tell me, oh, it's same. Welcome to our
You see what I'm
world.
saying?
Well,
So
now you
it's like-
hear what?
Right.
Exactly.
Welcome to my world.
Exactly.
Right.
And
Like,
I'm just like, we just went over this a few hours ago. What do
Exactly.
you want me to say?
To be
Like, why are we
to be
still talking
honest,
about this?
I've been in a relationship where I'll count like the arguments and think about the origin of the arguments and say each of these arguments have
Started
come
from
from
the
exactly from her being upset at the same exact and me answering her questions the same exact. Well, why did you do that? Okay, we went over this before. A, da da da, B, da da da, C, da da da. You don't care, you don't. And then you know what I'm saying? It's all stemming
it's
from the
all
same
with that
thing.
mind reading madness. I don't know where y'all got that from. Y'all been talking to Miss Cleo too much. You better open your mouth. Close mouths on shit.
Like, is it that ladies hear a different language when we speak
Yep.
sometimes? Because it's like, we'll be like, look,
They
baby,
call it dog.
I truly love you, and they hear,
Right, that's they hear. Oh, you love me, so what the heck was you doing an hour ago? That's what they heard.
Right.
Like,
Well, we just have a tendency to read more into what y'all are saying because
but
I've
read
noticed
into
that.
what? Why can't I just say what I'm saying?
I've noticed that when y'all say certain things, so especially certain little sweet random things to a female, it's usually because y'all did something that y'all don't want us to find out.
Same thing with females. Come home and all of a sudden you in lingerie.
Exactly. You indicting the man.
What you want?
You indicting the man before you indicting the man before you meet
There
him.
are still
You
some
indicting the
charming
man before
men
you
in
meet
the
him.
world.
You
There's
you know all that is
I have to be one of them.
Things
That's like,
that's
yeah, I
what
have to
you
be one of them.
expect.
Yes, I
So,
do.
you know.
I'm just saying.
But what's wrong with that? Why can't your man come home and expect something?
Me personally,
It depends.
No.
If you're married to a man and he goes to jail, that's your husband. You're gonna hold your husband down because you took vows to do that. If that's your boyfriend or something that's not so serious, even if it's your fiance and y'all are not on the greatest of terms, then I don't know about that.
how long he's going in there and what he's going in there for. Because if you're going to jail for shooting somebody and killing somebody or something, I'm not holding you down. It's just, we may be married, it's not
So
happening.
you're gonna get a divorce?
I don't think so.
What? There's different kinds of cheating.
I don't think all
Even those
men.
men that just get a rise out of talking to a female, that's cheating. You're emotionally connecting with somebody else. That's a form of cheating. Yes.
I feel like cheating is you sleeping with somebody else and if you
So it's
have
only about
another. It's sex and it's
I feel like-
if you have feelings towards somebody else, the same feelings that you have towards me, the same things that you showing me and you doing for me, you doing it for somebody else. That's cheating.
But he can
But
do
as
that.
far as
with-
having a
But he
conversation
can
with
do that
somebody,
with more
no.
than just having sex. You can connect with somebody's soul just by talking to them. You get what I'm saying? And spending time with them. That's cheating.
I'm comparing the man to a child. I
Continue.
mean, like the woman's role, like the woman's role. Like my mom always told me, like you gotta make sure you take care of your man, right? Y'all need to be taken care of.
Oh, you
Y'all
mean
love
like a
that.
mother and child?
Right,
Like in
exactly.
a sense,
In
but
a
I don't
sense.
want to sleep with my
And
mother. I'm just
You know
saying.
what I mean?
Pause.
I'm saying though.
That's understood. You're right though, because
Like,
like my family when they met my girlfriend, they always say like she reminds them of my mother.
Or like the same thing with girls, like he reminds me of my dad. Da, da, da.
Exactly.
See, but
Yeah,
I don't agree with that
that.
because I would not want to be a man that
Exactly.
reminded me.
But
of
you
my dad.
would you not want a man with the same qualities of your dad? Like, do you respect your dad as a husband to your
No.
mother? No. Oh well.
See, and that's one thing.
Not
Like,
at all. Not at all.
That's a
Not
different
at all.
story.
Not at all.
nowadays, I think that that's
Who's
one
shopping?
thing that like one thing that
Is your shirt?
nah, it's you,
Oh.
it's on you. But that's one thing that causes the problem with a lot of relationships nowadays is because truly, people's father is like their first love or should be their first love. You know what I'm saying? Not nothing nasty, but it should be that first man that
I guess
the
that's
first
where
good
I
man
messed
that
up
they
at.
meet. You know what I'm saying?
Because I didn't have that at all. My dad was the complete opposite. My father has like 4 different baby mothers, total 6 kids, still cheats on my mother, and they've been married for 22 years. Right.
Wow. But see, that is something else different about like the old school and new school too. Like back in the
Right.
day, you didn't get a divorce. You fixed it.
Right.
You worked it out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, you left the milk carton out and it's time to break up. Like, you done pissed me off because it ain't all the I mean, my aunt went through it. My aunt, her husband cheated, had a whole baby, you know, and I applaud my aunt, like superhero in a way, because she dealt with it for one. She lived through it. not only that, turn around and raise that boy that wasn't hers. She got to look at you every day and know that you are the infidelity.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That broke. Like, you didn't break up my home at one point, but you're the result of something that was wrong.
Right.
And still accepted him as her own child. Basically raised that boy. And now her husband are back together. They had a whole second wedding, like everything, and they went through it. It took years. You know what I'm saying? For most of my life, they were separated. You know what I'm saying? But I always knew him to be my uncle. I always knew they were married, and they are back together. And that's that old school love, though, like where you actually had the time put in the beginning, so that if you went through something like that, you could work it out.
Right.
Now,
I think people try to compare the love thing.
Yeah,
Right. I think people try to say like love, like nowadays, and try to, just like with Christianity that we was talking about earlier, people like put these words to it and try to attach perfection to it. Like there's nothing perfect. Like we're still human beings.
I mean, the whole 80-20 is real.
Right.
That's why people cheat.
Right.
That's why people cheat. It's the 20%.
Exactly.
It's the 20%.
Exactly. And as soon as you highlight that 20%, and you're like, okay, you know what?
Right. It wasn't even worth it. Like,
Just to say something quick, as far as what you said earlier, how you said you'd much rather someone cheat on you sexually than emotionally. I find it crazy that, I mean, you probably, multiple people probably think that way. But it's crazy how society has gone to that point where I'm like, okay, let him cheat, he'll cheat on me just to have sex with someone else.
Right.
And that's it, I'll accept that.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm gonna accept it.
No, I'm just saying, just the idea of it even being in your head. Like, sex is a big deal. My mom told me it's something you share with somebody.
It is. And the Bible is, that's how you know someone.
Exactly. And for you to share your body with someone intimately and then you're with someone else, that trust is completely gone.
That's why you have to get that back, and it's not.
It's not easy.
That's not easy. Once you lose trust in somebody or
It's
something.
so hard.
And that's
It's
why
so
I think
hard.
that people that are in relationships really need to look at their definition or their evaluation of the term love.
Well, you shouldn't
I
really
think
be in a
that-
relationship until you can trust someone.
That's
Like, how do
true.
you enter a relationship and I don't know that I can
As
trust you?
far as being in actual relationships with someone else, I don't want to say I'm scared of commitment, but I believe commitment is something you have to be committed to. You have to have the time for it. You have to have your life together. My mom always told me a strong man has a job it can provide, you know? And touching on how I lost my virginity, my mom always told me, you have to wait to have sex with anyone. We gotta wait to get married. I was like, Mom, whatever. Everyone in high school is having sex. I have to jump on that bandwagon. And to this day, my mom not to this day, actually, my mom was very disappointed in me when that happened. Because, I mean, yes, I'm my own person, but at the end of the day, she really tried to show us the right thing, and I felt like I was letting her down. So our relationship was really bad for a while. But, you know, after I grew up, I realized how serious sex was, how you're sharing your body with someone else. And but now I understand why.
But I think that's corny. Like, not corny, but it's like, I get the whole like be established thing, but what if you never become established?
That's not I have goals.
I mean, but we all do.
Yeah.
Life comes at you fast.
Right. That reminds me.
I understand. I get it. I'm just saying.
So,
that's
I
my
mean-
thought process on it.
And because I don't think that I think men, first of all, we're born and it is in us to be providers. You know what I'm saying? Whether we live up to that or not is another story.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I think it is our nature to provide. And I think that's a dream or a goal of every man. But life comes at you fast. It don't go down like that all the time. And what happens if you fall in love before you get your big check? Like, you're gonna say, like, you'd rather let her go, him go, whomever, because you don't have $1 million in your account?
I guess what I'm saying is I'm not actively looking for a relationship right now.
Now, but one observation that I've made, like, and I think it ties into, like, first let me give the disclaimer that I love all my chocolate, ebony, mahogany, any type of, you know what I mean? But anyway, it goes like I think it goes hand in hand with like a lot of brothers that go to date white women or Asians or Spanish. Like, a lot of our women in our community, just like us, came up in a single parent household, and most of the time it's with a single mother. So looking at our mothers and stuff like that, do their thing and be independent while we come up, that instills like a level of independence or pride in us. You know what I'm saying? Right. And sometimes with any relationship, it's a partnership, isn't it? Yep. So you have to, you know what I'm saying, submit, or you have to defer some. You have to give some sacrifice, like we were saying earlier. And a lot of times I think our pride and the independence and stuff that we've come up with, we used to be in like the single mentality. Like, emulates what their father does or is quote unquote as cool as their dad is, then that's the standard for them. But there's so many black women in my generation that have grown up without a father, either because they're in jail, dead, or just not there. So I think a lot of that affects their choice. Or men get conditioned into staying in a single parent home and that's all you know as far as you or your relatives. You know, you just become naturally more independent and stronger as an individual, which can take away like that strength or that pride can take away from you being able to accept a partnership that may be really there for you, or you being able to enjoy a relationship that you've been blessed with. And the last thing is really like seeking love. All of this is like sounds real judgmental, but like seeking love with a lot of the black females that I know and stuff like that or whatnot. When they seek love, you can't find that in no baby. I see a
It's like, oh, you gotta, you know,
You know why it's corny?
What?
Because females, if not as horny, they are hornier than men.
I agree with that a lot.
I agree.
So that's why everyone think it's corny, son.
Women are definitely, I think they're actually, well,
More.
I don't
I
know.
feel like more.
'Cause
I think fellas are more fucked. That's what it
I thought
originated
was
from.
that whole over there.
Yeah, that whole video.
That?
But that hell over there.
Yeah.
But that's so
But
stupid.
5th or 4th grade, and I'm in the room with 8th graders who are now 13, getting ready to go into high school, and these dudes are sitting up here talking about, you know, nutting and puberty and all that, and I'm sitting there like really dumb, like, what's cum? Like,
Right.
what is that?
Right.
And they're just like, you've never come, and I'm like, what? You know, very scary these days, especially like with North and South Carolina, they have some of the highest rates for
Charlotte.
HIV and STD. Charlotte is horrible, and people are every day just sleeping around. Like all these baby mamas, you don't pop up just with a baby from having sex. You pop up with a baby from having unprotected sex.
Right.
And if he got 6 baby mothers and you got 6 baby fathers, and you know what I'm saying, like, everybody's sleeping around, like, and it's scary in Charlotte. Now, no, it's no longer 1987. Like, you can definitely live. You don't have to die with the virus, but it's still
You don't want
but
that.
it still definitely changes everything about your life. And people, there's still such a stigma attached to it. Like, you sneeze in the wrong room and you gonna get some ignorance.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, people gonna be like, oh my
now,
God.
homosexuality and stuff is so open, so it's easy for a person to say, hey, I'm gay. But with that disease, like, you're hard pressed to even find anyone to admit that, especially if you find them attractive as like a potential sexual partner.
Well, I mean, now that you said that, it's funny because when I...
Anecdote time?
I guess, like when I came out, if you will, one of the very first questions I was asked by a family member, they was like, so you said? And I was like,
What?
yeah. And I was like, so...
I'm healthy, so.
Right, like, that's the automatic assumption,
Right.
you know, like, and it's real because that wasn't long ago. You know what I'm saying? That might have been 3-4 years ago. And that was like the very first question. It was like, oh, okay, that's cool, but I do have a question. What's your question? Like, why is that the first
Exactly.
thing?
And then to me, let me finish.
On a female. But
Yeah, it definitely does. But
Right.
all of the inhibitions of a female
Oh,
will
you're
get
saying
shown
all
on the video.
fantasy is taken away. And
Plus, when
they come out naked.
But and look, the strip club is a whole nother episode, I think, because I have a lot of anecdotes
I
from
think
strip clubs.
feels like that and places like the strip club make it harder for females that are more reserved and want the man to.
I disagree
have that
because
history.
if a woman will go to the strip club with her man, they will more
Wait,
than likely
wait,
have
wait.
some great.
That's not what I'm saying.
Times.
What I'm saying
Yeah.
is, I think it makes it harder
Right.
for them to even
makes it
entice
harder?
the man because
Okay.
you have all of those women out there willing to just show you what they can do,
But
show you what
no.
they're capable of. Therefore, you have to compete with that.
No, because there's free porn
That's what I
everywhere, and if that's the case, you can sit around and watch porn all day
That's
and
true.
still lose that inhibition. You know what I'm saying?
I guess.
So I mean, if first if the dude ain't interested, he ain't interested. It don't matter
Right.
whether it's a big booty hole next to him or not. It don't matter. If he's not interested, he's not gonna be interested. And if he is, he is. Same way, a man gonna be faithful, a woman gonna be faithful if they want to be faithful, and if they not, they not.
Right. And I'm not saying that I want my female to be asking to lick my ass or something like that. I just want her to do some extracurricular something. But there's ladies out there that do that. And I'll be okay, that's a little too freaky.
Very
Okay.
much so.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I was shocked.
And they'll take a cheek,
Yeah.
take a cheek and spread it.
I've mentioned that I've been single going on 4 years now. And a lot of that was, you know, trying to find myself and reflecting on how I've lived and things that I could maybe do better. But at the same time, like, I mean, I guess what we go through kind of affects who we become as adults. Well, it doesn't kind of, it definitely affects who we become as adults and how we deal with relationships and love.
Stocks and yachts or something like that.
Why
that they
can't you
have.
tell
No,
me?
if I get to that level.
To cut you off, I'm just gonna put it like this. You got, there's a couple of basketball players that they're making a lot of money. I get it. They're marrying these white women. These black players are marrying these white women. They are around
Well,
these higher
actors,
caliber
entertainers,
people.
absolutely.
They're around these people. And you know, these black women, you know, there's some pretty well-off black actresses and stuff like that. But I mean, these basketball players are around some of these white girls who just have a lot of money, escorts. You don't know who they are.
I understand that
Yeah.
with these white girls' mentality, though.
I mean,
don't
yes,
get it twisted.
but don't get it twisted. But I don't know the-
Quite a few
Yeah.
of them out there that whose father said to them, if you're gonna be with a black man, he has to have money.
Oh,
he
I'm
has
sure.
to be an athlete. He has to do something because you can't take one of those rich white girls and bring them to the hood and think that they're gonna just get a hood nigga because he's black.
But if I can
No.
think about an athlete, period, and you think about the type of money, like you were saying, like the type of money he's bringing in, and then when you think about the mentality of a black person, oh, every black woman, she's only gonna want me for my money.
That's what they-
Wait. And now these same black men or white men, whoever these athletes are surrounded, like you said, by people with money. So, like, think about the black athletes who have married black women. Most of them are Gabrielle Union, Keisha Cole.
Shawnee.
Like, they are people, Shawnee. They are people, Shawnee was his,
Right.
like they either have to be the chick that was with you and held you down
High
before you even got
school.
there,
That's a good
and they've been
thing.
around, or if it's new, they have to be established.
I just feel like black men that do have money and that do not try to get somebody that is a woman of color that does have money, when they see a black woman that's on their level, they get intimidated. Why is that?
I disagree.
Yeah,
Why is that?
I think black women try to
I strongly disagree.
I don't think so.
Absolutely.
I don't
That
think so.
yes,
Church.
very much so.
Church.
Black
A little bit.
black women love to intimidate.
They do. We feel like we're independent, and that's just it.
Right, exactly. And at that time, that can be a
It's
downfall.
just like,
Already.
think about
That is
this.
a
Okay,
downfall.
Best Man Holiday, Nia
Okay.
Long, strong, independent black woman, getting ready to get married to this white, strong man, right? What does she say to him? I don't need you.
Right.
Now, whether he's white or black, he wants to be a man at
Right.
the end of the day.
And that statement itself
But
takes
that's
off
Right.
all of the, that puts all
And
the
that's the
doubt in your
problem.
hands.
These
that you
black
leave with
women
somebody.
get a bunch of money and
And-
you don't need him.
It's both ways. And honestly, this is the elephant in the room. Also, these black men that, and I'm pointing at you, but in no way am I being you because you the antithesis of what I'm about to say. But these black men, some of them go out there.
Some don't. I'm like, yes.
Some black, like there's black men that's out exactly. Go Panthers. But there's black men that's out there that go out of their way. They have it just like these black women that have them standards. They have a standard with them. You know what? I'm done with black women. Just for the reason you said, or just for the reason that y'all are contributing. And the problem is like. That's a gem. That's a beautiful thing for you to be independent and for us to see that in you.
Right.
But then, like, we just have to be real. We have to be real. Exactly. We have to be real about the conflicts that does cause, though. You know what I'm saying? Within
So
our
you'd
own.
rather have somebody that would just
Not even because I don't. Because at the same time, no. I got to speak. No. Hold back. Because there'll be females. Exactly. There'll be females. No. There'll be females. No. Because I'm saying. same? No, because I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna illustrate
It's
on
not
the
about
other end.
complying, it's about knowing your role.
Exactly. I'm gonna illustrate on this end.
Straight like that. There is no.
I'm gonna illustrate on this end. No,
That's where women get it
there's
twisted.
females that want their men to do everything, and then their man is gonna turn around to them and say, "Do you want a do boy or do you want a grown ass man?" And that's the same
Because the thing
argument.
is, when he becomes a do boy, now you don't want him either because now he's weak. And now he's not a man. But you don't allow him
So the
to be a
argument
man.
goes both
You have
ways.
to allow a man to be
It
a
goes
man.
both
period.
But then you have to allow a woman to be a woman at the same time.
Oh, we try to allow y'all.
But you can't. But you don't have to. You can be an independent woman without thinking that you gotta date.
What is allowing a woman to be a woman?
In a man's eyes, to do everything that the man
No. What is allowing a woman to be a woman?
Let the woman do her thing.
What
The
does
same
that
way-
mean?
The same way that
What-
a man
no, what
has
does that
his money,
mean?
has his cars, wants to do what
There's
he wants.
nothing wrong with that. That's
Let
nothing
the
wrong
woman
with
do
that.
her
Okay, but without the woman having to be a man. But without
Y'all are talking about something totally different.
Exactly.
Y'all are talking about finances.
Yeah, the woman cannot be a man.
See, and that's the problem. You don't get it. We're not even talking about finances. You can have, well, no, my wife can't have more money than me, and that's my own issue. That's not even what I'm talking about. That's not even what I'm talking about. That's my own issue, and that has something to do, well, there's nothing left unsaid. This is why my wife can't have more money than me, because I watched a marriage where a woman had more money than her, and a lot of the arguments were about that. A lot of them were about the fact that I have more money than you, or this is my house, or this is my, you know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, it's like, but my point in the beginning had nothing to do with money. When I'm saying let a man be a man, is that he is the man of the household.
Right.
So therefore,
Regardless if there's no jobs involved, regardless if there's jobs involved or whatever.
but that is what I'm saying. I'm not talking anything that has to do with finances. I'm talking about the roles of a man and a woman. Straight up. It is in the role of the woman is to stand by her man. It is not to take over the house. He is the head of the household.
Right, that's understood. That's not what I'm saying at all.
So all I'm saying is that more black women will play their role, less white women will have your man.
And from then on, sex, I've never been able to have one person who I can sit down with and, you know, share intimacy with because of what they did to me made me feel. I've never been able to have that real experience, like, and to not have somebody who was there, who I can, you know, like, understand me. It hurt, you know? And now I'm older now. I'm learning more now, but at the same time it's still there and it still hurts. And I still don't really know how to love somebody because if that's the way that love was shown to me, I don't really know how to love somebody else. Hopefully, you know, me saying what I'm saying right now, I'm trying to fight tears back because it hurts so bad, but I just wish that I can help somebody else who may have gone through the same thing. It's not bad to tell somebody. It's okay to let somebody know. If that has happened to you, it's okay to let somebody know. You will feel a lot better and things will get better for you. It's okay to come out and tell. Take me, for example. Worldwide, here I am.
Next time on The Park.
The day right after graduation, bruh, I get a phone call, right? I'm thinking that somebody congratulated me, and it turns out they did, but then turn right around and ask me for a damn payment. You know Sally Mae called me the day after?
You were growing up, no. That we went to high school, then you went to college. And that was supposed to guarantee you some sort of job / income.
That was the dream.
Some of these people who just went into $100,000 in debt have no way of paying this
I
back.
understand, like, can I get a job now? I meet all these qualifications, and then he said to me right after he told me that, he's like, you know, it sucks because this man's like probably in his 50s. He said to me, he's like, you know, it sucks because we screwed it up for you guys.
soul
the
the
American
word
dream
that you saw.
I'm
The park, sex scene, take one.
Turn it around, turn it around, turn it
Oh,
around.
sorry. The park. Sex, love, and relationship, take one.
Like, what stereotypes you feel is out there that's wrong about black women?
Oh, they can be so damn rude because, you know what I mean, but no shade though. And then you know what I'm saying?
It's all shade.
Yeah, I know exactly.